it's the big monster in the room.
Yeah, man.
AI.
There's another one that I've just been thinking about for like months now.
10 years, it'll be so different. That brings me to 7 AI tools that artists and musicians can use today to help their creative process. Welcome to the Unfiltered Podcast. I'm your host, Raf, and this is my co-host, Zahir.
What up, man?
What's good, bro?
Chilling, man.
How you doing today?
Bro, just, hustling. It's a busy day today. So,
oh, man, that's awesome. What are you doing after this?
I got some family time in the middle, but then I do have some studio time tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, just preparing for the nighttime work. I like to do more of my work during the day, but, in this business... Yeah, it's got to be all hours.
Right.
Especially when you're doing everything ground up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, man. How about yourself? How are you doing?
Oh, dude, I'm doing good. Have a little bit of allergies today. Oh. So hopefully the podcast is still great, but nothing too bad. Though.
It is in full bloom right now. I think there's a lot more of that flying around.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm excited to talk about the topic today. It's the big monster in the room.
Yeah, man.
AI.
There's another one that I've just been thinking about for like months now, and it's only been months, really.
Right.
It hasn't been that long that like AI has been so popular. I know it's like popular on different fronts, but musically speaking, I think of recent events, kind of showed exactly how far we've come and how crazy it's about to get.
Right. Yeah. That song with Drake and The Weeknd, the fake Drake and the fake Weeknd.
Ghostwriter or whatever. It was a TikTok artist. Right. Yeah, man. That was nuts.
Yeah.
It was just, I was telling you earlier, like it sounded so polished.
Yeah.
And if you didn't really like follow these artists, you would think this is one of one of their songs, like,
right.
And it's a very it's a very stark difference from when it like first. I think there were other instances of people using AI like earlier in the year, and you could hear kind of the clunkiness, it didn't really sound all too polished. But that one that you just mentioned was like, I couldn't hear any artifacts and that's kind of scary, just seeing how fast like they sort of took care of that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, man. That's and you're just gonna get I think in the beginning here, like you might just get the artist perspective out of me, when it comes to using AI.
Right.
Knowing full well that there's benefits. It is an exciting topic, though. I think this is something like we're at the beginning of AI being integrated into our lives.
Right. Yeah.
On
that's
like
true.
Every front.
Yeah, dude. Like Google CEO. Sundar Pichai, he's Google, right?
Yeah.
He was saying that he's kind of like, he thinks that like AI's technology, like how fast it's moving, and society's acceptance of how fast it's moving is like off balance. Like it's not at the same rate. Like society can't accept it this fast.
Oh, okay.
Because it's moving so fast. Society just doesn't know how to like fucking
how to actually utilize this and make it work.
Yeah. So he sees like that it could be there'll be a lot of challenges for society's acceptance and the long term acceptance of these kind of things. Sure. But at the same time, it's happening.
It's happening.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
And 10 years, it'll be so different.
It will be. Yeah. And I think like we can get into that as we move on. But like I think there's gonna be like real results later on.
Right.
And I think right now we just need to experience it and just proceed with some kind of care though.
Right.
Because like that song did get pulled down.
Yeah.
So UMG did pull it. Because it is right. It's infringement at that point.
Yeah. Because likeness.
The likeness. Exactly.
Artists,
So, right.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
Yeah, it's cool. Like it's like a few years ago, AI was just like the autocorrect and things like that was just artificial intelligence.
I mean there were iterations, right, of using AI like GPS, that kind of like.
So it has AI.
If it like suggests routes, right, like things like that. There's a certain amount of intelligence, a certain amount of data that's been fed already. There's some trajectory already that's been made with AI.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for our purposes here, this the AI when it comes to the music side is just a little spooky.
Yeah,
you know, and it's something that I think like, yeah, sure, we took one down, but I think now there's going to be like a gray area about what's real and what's not. And as this becomes more and more sophisticated, how are you supposed to really know? You know, if as what I'm, as the listener, at least up until recently, you could say that there was still that human element,
right? Which
was the microphone and a breathing human being that vocalized. Now even that part is synthesized. You know? So like,
right.
So that as the artist in me, like when you start removing the humanity more and more from an already digitized version of what it used to be,
right?
And like, man, for weeks I've been thinking about this, and sometimes weeks recently, but like over the years, just seeing how music has changed and how even some of these, you know, albums, I don't mean to put people on blast or anything, but the music sounds, unless you're one of the big dogs, you know, so I'm excluding the people at the top because they have access to production and to creativity that will make their music sound unique. So I'm talking about like Kendrick and Drake and Cole, and there's like a lot of those that I understand have their unique sound. But for people that are coming up now that need to create volume, the originality has starting to erode already with things like Splice and not to put them on blast, but I think Splice has been used a lot. There's I think TrackLib. I think there's like where's another one? There's like a few other sampling websites that essentially it uses words to describe music and then offer you, you know, XYZ samples for you to get started. So even though you might create something very original around this thing, it's still rooted in something that was sampled. Now, I'm not totally against that, but we are losing more and more, you know, original music as we move forward here. And like, if you notice, even now, like there's always a sample, or it's always a reinvention of something, or like a revisit of something. And it's not just specific to hip hop. It's even like around the board. I think people are looking back towards a time where it was originality, where you know, you had to be in the know, or you had to be supremely talented at the right time. The universe had to XYZ, and the industry was much smaller.
Yeah, it was.
I think that created a certain threshold for talent.
Right.
And in doing so, like, you created a very solid, everlasting identity. Now I just fear that artists will be less inspired to want to, you know, be original and to say what's in here versus like what's trending now, or what's the hot new sound, you know, or whatever, like that this algorithm now decides is going to be it. I'm already getting stuff in my inbox, you know, like there's plugins that create bass lines for you in whatever key that you want it to be, with glide or no glide. You want more notes in the middle or less notes. You essentially have a composer with you, so you could have little to no musical capability but still create music. I don't know. I feel like we're losing a little bit of the originality. That's all.
Does it feel like it's always been a similar type of struggle though? Because like, you know, you're right, back in the day there were fewer artists who were more original, but there were so many gatekeepers, you know, like there's gatekeepers everywhere. And and then the industry advanced, and then, you know, social media made people famous from social media, like people like Soulja Boy got famous off of MySpace.
He was the first viral, I would say the first viral superstar.
But then that kind of like broke down all of the gatekeepers, you know, everybody was like, holy shit, they're known.
So gatekeeping I think is a separate thing. I you're right, like I don't really necessarily subscribe to the gatekeeping aspect. But then like I don't know, like do you feel like all gatekeepers were somewhat like self-serving, or do you feel like they actually had a standard that they were filtering out? And the less and less that we subscribe to what they thought was good, the more things, you know, are determined to be hits. And again, like I understand that like it's all a subjective thing, but the fact that we're removing the humanity from it bit by bit. So now like you can sound like Kanye, like you can have a Kanye verse, and if it's fire and it goes, like they might be inclined to do business with you off of that. It's just I'm sorry, it's just an artist perspective, you know?
Sure.
Like this is not very much so like a producer perspective, because this is very attractive in that way.
Yeah.
Or like as a composer or even like a songwriter even. But as somebody who creates, as somebody who values the fact that, okay, there was at least, so in my songs, for example, a lot of the synth work, it's my, you know, wrist. Like I keep all of the same timing. I don't quantize or nothing like that. I like to give you where I felt the pocket was, you know, where the rhythm was.
You know, I think you're right that it's something that we got to learn to use, you know, make it our own so that it doesn't use us and we use it.
Right.
You know, and like, you know, forever, you know, people have cheated all the time, you know, like.
Sure.
But the cheaters don't go that far. You know?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
If you want to like be an expert at something, you're not going to get that far being a cheater. You know, the things that I was interested in, I never cheated on, you know.
No, you did the knowledge.
Yeah.
I actually looked.
Yeah, and most of the time I take the hard way and like do the things instead of, you know.
You both, man.
Yeah, I learned lessons like the hard way, like by doing it, you know. That brings me to 7 AI tools that artists and musicians can use today. To help their creative process, you know, and like we mentioned, you know, that human aspect is not gone. That's gonna be the differentiator. That's gonna be the one that makes you unique,
right, and determines your success, really.
That yes, you're right. And so from the 7 tools, AI tools that artists and musicians can use, the first one is a tool called LyricStudio, and LyricStudio is this dope little you know, ChatGPT kind of looking thing, but a little more advanced. It's got a nice little UI, but it gives you like lyric ideas. Like you give it prompts, like, you know, on the type of lyrics that you want to write, and it'll give you some starting points that you can edit and fix. You know, it's not gonna be the best, but like you have to go in and
starting
edit
points.
And fix it up.
These are all starting points. What was that called again?
LyricStudio.
LyricStudio.com.
I think so. Yeah,
for sure. Or you just look it up, and I'm sure
just look it up.
Find it. Yeah.
And then
LyricStudio.
Yeah, LyricStudio is number 1, and then the second one on my list is MelodyStudio. It's made by the same people. Okay. And it's a similar UI, and it focuses on the melody aspect.
So like the musical composition part.
Yeah, it'll give you some ideas on the melodies.
Or you can search like different moods. Maybe like you can search different like descriptors to be able to like pull like certain vibes. Yep. Wow. Yeah, and like for a producer like yourself, like it's easier for you like than it is for me, because I'm not I don't produce music, you know. I don't compose, you know, all those things. Like for me it would be harder to like understand like what I should do with this, you know, like versus I could get some starting points, but I wouldn't know where to go with it. Yeah. But for people like you with experience, you know, this just makes it easier. These are great starting points, like especially musically.
Yeah, nice. Exactly.
Okay.
And then the third one is Landr, Landr.
Oh yes, I know about this one. Yes.
What do you know about this one?
I've had like a few people that I've worked with use that.
Yeah, for mixing and mastering. Yeah.
And I don't know, this was like years ago. So like I don't know, like, and I don't want to say years, like it was like 6 or 7, but maybe like 2 or 3. Where they told me that they liked what I did more than whatever they got back. And I just imagine that it's like when you have years of experience and that's not really going to match up, or that's not going to like an automated service isn't really going to match up to your ear.
Right.
And so that's something that I've always questioned about just the specific mixing and mastering AI is that to whose ear are these decisions being, you know, tuned in, like dialed in, like, and that's really why you go to engineers, is because they have ears that have listened to music over decades, and that have refined it to a point where they can clean it up and they can make it sound characteristically great. Right. Whereas I think things like Landr might get the job done.
Right. Yeah. It's an exceptional tool for, like, let's say vocalists, you know, who who wants to sing but doesn't have that studio time at this point yet.
Okay.
It's a good way for them to create some demos and, like, because, like, with a good mix master, you'll sound much better. And, like,
Yeah, when you use the
product is
actual tools, professional tools, like we said, like that cream will always rise to the top.
Yeah.
And there's no there's no way around that part.
Right.
But for folks that are trying to get out there ASAP and, like, don't have the budget,
Right.
Man, by all means, use everything that you have.
Yeah.
To get yourself out there and to have you be out there creatively.
Right.
I'm speaking to the music because this is a music list.
Right.
Yeah.
It's tools for artists.
Tools for artists. Yeah. So if we're gonna start out, if I was 13 now, yeah, I might already have a couple mixtapes ready. Like,
right.
And this is just like my first 6 months.
Right.
And just the way that the level of information that's out there,
right,
for you to get going. And then you have, what did we say, those LyricStudio, MelodyStudio, and now we have Landr.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, you already got lyrics, beats, mix master.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, dude, now the next one is actually a DAW in your pocket.
Oh
BandLab.
BandLab. Okay.
BandLab is the shit.
Actually,
I love BandLab.
41 talked to me about this.
Yeah.
You said that
it's a little studio. It's a little studio with DAWs, with everything.
Holy crap.
In your pocket. But here's the thing. If you record music in your pocket, it's only going to be that. It'll be a sort of a demo. So like on your phone app, you could like record little demos, little ideas, and then you can take that to your computer and expand and do more with it.
Right.
Another good thing about BandLab is that it helps you collaborate. It's all online. So like other sound engineers and stuff, they can meet up online in your BandLab session and do the thing with you.
Wow,
that's really cool. Yeah. But it's not a full purpose. It's not going to replace Logic. It's not going to do those things.
But like that at least inspires collaboration.
Yeah, it's really together.
That's cool.
It's really dope, and it's got like certain AI technologies. One of the new AI technologies that they have BandLab is called Song Starter. And it just gives you a starting point. Again, like it's just starting point. It gives you that you can select the type of mood that you want and what type of a beat you want or what genre you want. And then it'll give you some starters. You get to, fuck around with it a little bit. And then when you are happy with that starter, you can select a few buttons and it'll take you to the studio version of the application. And you can just take it from there and expand on it,
Wow.
So that's a cool little...
great.
Yeah, that's a good
something like that in your pocket because... Yeah, how many times I can't tell you, like I lost ideas.
Yeah.
Just because I thought about them, they were fire, and then I just went about my day, thinking I'm cocky, like I'll bring that back. Yeah. But nope. Like you need to put that down, like right there, and you need to be able to reference it, especially during times where you feel like you have a block.
Yeah. I've seen artists use BandLab in so many interesting ways. I've seen them do like having ideas, for the vocals, where they would load their own beat into it. Like they didn't use BandLab to create this beat. They had a beat already that they created, put it up onto BandLab, and then they're going about their day. They have some vocal melodies and ideas that pop up. Just try it out, like, just hit record and just try it out. The vocals. Yeah. And then use a little bit of the AI autotune tools that they have to test the autotune. Like, is this really sounding good? Is it,
Right. Am I in the right direction?
Yeah. But like if you're going to Starbucks and you have an idea and you just record it, you don't necessarily get that idea of what it might be like on the actual song, Sure. But using BandLab, you can get a little idea. Yeah. And then you take that idea and then later on in the week when the artist drops into the studio.
Have them actually, execute.
Yeah, just go to the studio and execute an idea that they already know is gonna sound good. Right. Just record, put in the vocal tracks, and we're pretty much.
It's about making that process quicker.
Yeah.
Like not having to just sit there and think. Right. When you got like a whole arsenal of ideas that are DAW ready. Like, that's dope. Okay. Exactly. BandLab. All right.
BandLab is sick. I think every artist can get something out of BandLab.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. Number 5 is a similar one. It's called Magenta Studio.
Okay.
And Magenta Studio is similar to LyricStudio and MelodyStudio. Actually, not LyricStudio. It's similar to MelodyStudio, where it can give you melodies and drum patterns and kind of help you set up. Again, like it's a setup tool.
Right.
The drum patterns sound good, but you kind of have to go in and like improve it. It's gonna just sound super digital at the beginning.
It's to do that front, like that grunt work. In the beginning, just getting the kick, snare, hi-hat, like having to do that, and then like make it an interesting pattern. Like here, I'll do that little part for you, but now you can take it from there. That's Magenta Studio.
It's one of those things that gets you started again, with melodies and drum patterns and things like that. It's got some cool features, and it's still very new, but it's got some cool features and helps artists a lot.
For sure.
I think that's a cool one. All right, so the next one is number 6? Number 6 is gonna be tools for artists to create like album covers. So you're able to create the song. Now, like there's many options for digital art. Through AI, but some of the good ones like DistroKid has their own one. It's called Distropic.
Oh, sick.
Distropic.
Wow.
And it's all right. I don't really like it because like I'm a designer myself. I don't really like this stuff.
And that's the whole point.
It's kind of whack, but for new artists or like I imagine even for people who make beat packs or like who create loops and have like constant releases, this is a dope little tool to like quickly slap together a quick cover and just put it out. And like at that point, like as long as you're getting a decent image that you like, that you can get past, like why not? Let's keep it moving. Right. Distropic is one. There are many options in this category. There's Shutterstock has its own little AI tool now. Similarly, it's not that awesome, but like it's all right. There's
Shutterstock.
Shutterstock's got one. Jasper.ai is one. I think that's pretty cool. Midjourney is the one that everybody uses.
That's on Discord. Right.
Yep.
So you have to be subscribed to a Discord. I guess
you have to
like
join a server. Discord server, and then you're able to get this going. It's Midjourney is like Midjourney is the one that like lately we've been seeing online, all the like the cool 3D looking AI images.
People put like descriptions down and then it spits something out. Right.
That's Midjourney, but it's good. It's got some ways to go, I think, in terms of quality artwork, but it's a good way.
Canva also has AI on it too, but like more so for like I think also for like generating script. So if you're looking for like an album title or something like that, like it gives you like ideas that way too. But I don't think it does anything in the visual side, other than its bank of graphics that you can like use.
Right.
So I use Canva personally to like create my designs.
Nice.
And like they've been expanding more and more with AI. So
that's a good one.
It is an exciting time to see like how it's getting integrated.
Right. Yeah, and that brings me to number 7, ChatGPT. Obviously
that's the one.
ChatGPT is very helpful, and I think it's great for artists, obviously, to grow out their brand. So it can do so many things like help you write scripts for reaching out to other people, like on LinkedIn, or like cold calling, literally like a cold DMing.
Like how am I supposed to phrase this kind of thing, or like sure or how am I supposed to structure pitching. Oh wow, okay.
I think that would that kind of stuff would help. And artists are like so some artists like who are earlier on their careers, if they don't have managers and other people around them,
a PR team,
they have to do so many things themselves.
100%.
And like ChatGPT can help in all of this. You don't have to do this anymore just by yourself. And so many times, so many fucking times over the years, I've gotten emails and DMs from artists that are just like, bro, what is this? Why are you sending me this? Like there's no structure to the email. There's no like, it's just like not professional at all. It's got like some links. It's got some please, can you see this, please? These type of things. It's just like, bro, this is just a turn off. I don't really even want to click on it. So for artists like that, ChatGPT is a heaven sent.
It's like you have to know how to really pitch yourself.
Yeah.
You're doing yourself no services by like begging the attention.
Yeah.
I think making real connections that way, like for artists, is important. And I think a lot of folks don't have maybe that kind of tact,
Right.
or that kind of I guess conscience,
Right.
to be able to structure emails and then have that awareness that, okay, how is this being received, or how might this be received?
Right.
And I think ChatGPT can be a great filter that way.
Yeah.
You start getting like real, like take some pride in your work, like a
Right.
little bit type of emails versus just looking with your
Right.
hand out, so to speak.
Yeah. And then captions on social media,
All of that.
Although you can't just copy paste it, because then you're losing
Starting
your
points.
brand.
Starting points.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
it.
like make it sound like you.
Yeah,
but it'll
don't
give you
lose
some
that.
ideas.
Yeah, don't lose that. Like
Right.
keep doing you,
Uh-huh.
but like if you can bounce ideas off of ChatGPT and create your own sentence from wherever you started with the conversation, like
Right.
that's you being involved in the process.
Right. And artist managers, they can use ChatGPT a lot, because for artist managers, like there's so many of these steps that they have to do that doesn't really require them to do it. Like honestly, like even for example, like when a song is for a music manager, when a song is gonna hit Spotify, when you have to pitch to Spotify using the Spotify artist tool, there's this whole description you have to write, and so like it doesn't have to be that hard, like you could just like work with ChatGPT, get some descriptions going, and then
something
use that,
solid, solid that you don't have to vet from somebody, or ask somebody else, how does this read?
Right.
You're getting that first initial attempt from an AI, and then like if you put your spin on it the right way, it can become very efficient.
It can help your artist.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh man, I forgot about all that. In terms of pitching to Spotify, because there's like a few pages of
you have
like
to do some things,
like metadata that
Right.
I feel like you got to add to that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So those kind of things would be like so much easier if artist managers use AI to like improve their management skills.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I think you'll see a sharp increase in professionalism then.
Yeah. And that'll be a heaven sent in this industry.
Yeah.
Like so many people are just not professional enough, Like so many people just think that, I've got some talent. Let me go and do this.
Oh yeah.
But like there's so much growth you need to like really be at the top.
There's like steps that are missing in the middle.
Yeah, there are.
That folks don't know about, or they don't put enough credence to.
Yeah.
I just think that AI will accelerate how quickly you take those steps.
Right.
But you still got to take those. You still have to apply yourself,
Yeah.
and you still have to stand out, be unique, and not end up like everything else. Because I imagine that those the sites that you mentioned, like what was it, LyricStudio, right? MelodyStudio, Magenta Studio,
Landr.
Landr maybe, but still Landr
Sure.
kind of depends on whatever you feed it, right?
Sure, yeah.
Whereas these things are generating,
Yeah.
right? So there's, I imagine that if you don't chop it, flip it, do whatever to it, you'll start sounding like others.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
If you don't really do like actual artists, like
Right.
perform artistic work,
Yeah.
then I feel like your career will be pretty quick.
Right. Yeah. Like I use ChatGPT to create product descriptions for like online products that I'm working on, and like from doing this experience, it's like every time the freaking descriptions are the same, like similar, same type, same things, but a few words different.
There's a finite.
It gets so boring, and it's just
yeah.
like that's bad for my brand to like always have the same shit,
100%.
And like so I always have to go in and re-edit the stuff to make it better.
You go, reverting back to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like the human aspect, which makes everything still like worthy of attention.
Right.
Is that like this touch, this essence that you have, like that I don't think can be replicated.
Right.
Yeah. Elsewhere.
Exactly, dude. Like that's the main thing with AI.
Yeah.
That's the thing that we need to remember. Those are the 7 apps that artists and musicians can use to really upgrade their careers however they want. Now more than ever, it's about the brand. Because there's gonna be so much quantity of like quality music. that the whole industry has to like rise up a level as well. You know, like for an artist to win at this point is like they gotta have the best in their brand. Their brand has to be the best. Their sound has to be the best. Everybody else is just gonna be kind of boring and forgotten. You know?
Right. I do think that like with AI, it does maybe filter out folks that are reliant too much on that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hopefully, it starts sounding generic, like the way that it's sounding to me, sooner than later.
Yeah.
But then I also see this other side where it's like now, you know, for let's say for example, like Rihanna, she's clearly not going to be making music for a while, right? Like she has a kid, she has another one on the way, and the way that, you know, they've been like, you know, it's been pictured really well, you know, like just them being a family together. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a third, you know. So like I don't think we're getting any new Rihanna music for a while, but I think I heard Rihanna cover the Maroon 5 song, which she never did, but it's an AI of Rihanna. Now she could technically do a whole album, you know, like as long as it's written well, you know, and like you got her voice and her likeness on it. Yeah, just pay me my cut, we're good to go.
Right.
Like again, there's that humanity that's been lost now. Now like Rihanna didn't even perform this. Now they just have access to the latest and greatest software, which will take whatever that pilot vocal was, make it Rihanna's, you know, harmonies and all. I'm sure it's going to get even more sophisticated as we move.
Yeah,
and you're not going to be able to discern.
Right.
And that's the part that like scares me.
And especially like knowing how freaking sleazy the music industry can be.
It already
all
is.
the freaking suits and the, you know, the leadership will be like, why the fuck do we need to pay this artist for this? Let's just like, we own the rights to his art. Might as well just recreate this with this guy's over here.
Oh my God,
room.
that's so scary. That's
hilarious.
Now there's probably some gray area about AI in contracts. Like, I don't know if everyone covered those, you know, those what do you call it? Yeah, covered those points in their agreements. I don't know if they saw this coming and like I think it's kind of funny, but like did you see Drake's post?
Oh yeah.
About, you know, that they had a Drake cover the Ice Spice song.
Yeah.
And it said this is the last straw. Like that's what he put up. I think I don't know if that's true or not, but like that's them catching up, you know, to like what's actually capable, or what's actually, you know, doable now with this sort of technology.
You know, it's true that the big boys, you know, they'll be fine because they'll use their brand and just lean into it. But the audience always wants to connect with people. You know, so now more than ever, the connection is going to be so important. You know? Because like freaking anybody can just like sound like Drake, you know. And how many, like, have you gone into like Spotify sometimes and run into like other Drake sounding folks, like from other,
oh man,
so many, right? Like there's this particular guy that I know, I'm not gonna mention him, but like he's in Europe and he sounds just like fucking Drake, but he's like from Europe, so it's some of it is different language, some of it is totally in English. It's just like, and he dresses like Drake and he's got the same picture style. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? But he's on Instagram like thinking he's hot shot, you know, and then there's some people in his camp, you know, his fans who are like, oh yeah, bro, you're the best, you know. It's just
gassing
like,
him up.
And it's like, bro, you're never gonna, but nobody knows this guy. Like I know him because of through other mutual connections and stuff, but like he's not a famous artist.
You can't do that. You can't achieve you can't achieve notoriety by being what's already there.
You can't be a copycat winner, you know.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, it's just like it's a weird time in that regard that there's like these counterfeits that are running around. But still talking about like, you know, just the benefits of like, I guess if you're getting started, you know, as a music producer. Yeah, as a starter, this is like to learn how what the process is without having to seek a mentor. Right. It's a plus and minus, you know, at that point too. But it's there. It's an option now. Yeah. And for folks like myself who really didn't have access when I was like 13, you know, 'cause making music, I could totally see this being like, oh my God. Yeah. The doors are even wider now in terms of getting through.
Right.
And yeah, some of these bass lines you might just want to keep it, because it sounds good. It doesn't need to be touched, and you might just need to add a little 1-2, and there you go.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think it'll definitely empower more beginners and more amateur artists to like really like find their creativity, find their sound, and that's a good thing. Like in general, like just like having more people empowered to do their thing.
Fair. Yeah.
That's always good,
Yeah.
And then like in the long run, like it'll help so many different types of people. Like I was watching this interview of Sundar Pichai, like as Google CEO, and he was talking about where in the future there would be like doctors, like surgeons or radiologists, I think is the example he used.
Yeah.
It's like he would just come into his shift, and all of his patients that are waiting would be organized according to the most highest priority patient first,
severity
level and stuff, like just auto prepared for him in a sequence.
So that's that happened already.
Nobody has to think about all this. You can just take care of the highest priority patients quickly, and then get to the next ones.
Sure.
That type of thing, I think, is going to be so cool. It's going to be
those are beneficial uses of AI.
Beneficial. It is an opportunity for newcomers and entrepreneurs and people who are building something. Like it helps those type of people who are like hustlers, and you still got to be creative because you got to like make it your own, because
it's a place to start.
Yeah, it's a place to start. And it's like branding will always win no matter what. Like the brand is always going to win. In that Drake example of the artist who looks and sounds like Drake, it's just like no one cares for that artist because we've already heard Drake, we've already seen the quality.
Right.
And a lot of newcomers might sound like many others because of AI and because they're able to make a beat that's just like Timbaland, or like make a make the audio engineering aspect of it like just sound like a pro song.
Sure.
But if it's not unique, then it'll just be the same old boring stuff.
So you still have faith in the human aspect that will shine.
For sure. Yeah, I think so. Because like even there's a stat I read the other day. It was from a musicians union. I think it's called the Musicians Union in the UK. It's a union of like musicians, thousands of musicians,
Sure.
And they did a poll, and basically from this poll of like I think 30,000 people, artists, they said 92% of them make just 5% of their income from streaming.
Right. Okay.
92% of artists in the UK in this 30,000 people poll make 5% of their income from just streaming.
That's it.
So it's like even if you had the dopest song that sounds like Drake and The Weeknd and Kendrick featuring Eminem,
you're not really making it just off of that.
Yeah, you're not gonna like fucking pay the bills with that,
No, you're right. You're right.
Unless like you're so unique now that now people are streaming you, then you can make that streaming money,
Or like just strictly off of streaming, it's pretty thin, but yeah, man, you just got me thinking about that. Like if you had a song like this out and it did really well, the camp might be liable to reach out to you and be like, we're gonna take that down, but you want to come right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Yeah,
and I think you these are like live auditions,
right?
With like infringement possibilities attached to it.
Right.
But like, at that sense, like this might catapult a songwriter's career. Just because you knew how to utilize the tools that were available to you,
right?
And you created a song that this artist or band would have wanted to make themselves, and they may have taken it down, but maybe they redo it now, like with them for real. And now, if they have any shred of humanity left in them, they'll involve you, and then like you can develop a relationship that way by being a songwriter for real, and maybe not use AI for anything except for assistance.
Right.
Whereas like, I don't think you can make a career out of impersonating somebody.
Right.
Like that just won't happen.
Yeah, but the doors have opened now for so many other things, so many other opportunities. So that's what's exciting to me. I think like there's this story that I think about when I think about AI. It's like some time ago I was hanging out with this mentor of mine, and he's like a very busy guy. Like he's got a family, he's got he's a CEO of a few companies. He runs a number of things.
Right.
He's a like a go-getter type, hustler, works hard,
Yeah.
But this one time I was hanging out with him, it was like this whole time he had multiple like assistants, multiple secretaries who just come into the room, like gets him to sign something or gets his okay on something, and then they go run do their thing.
Right.
And he even gets interrupted by like, you know, like his family and things like that.
Uh-huh.
But like, you know, when I asked him like, what's the secret to doing all of this, you know, like having it all, you know, like how are you able to do so many things?
Yeah.
The answer to that was like, I delegate, you know, and the real answer to that is I delegate to a lot of assistants and secretaries and folks who get this shit done for me, you know. And he's the leader, so he's got the vision. He tells them what to do and how to approach. Yeah. And so that's like, to me, you know, that's what AI is. You know, AI is these assistants, these, you know, like how many times have you thought of, I wish there was another Sahir, you know?
Yeah, just like
for me too, I was just like, I wish there was another Raph to do this part of the work.
And I'll go do this over here, right? Yeah.
Now I feel like, man, I'm gonna now have like little assistants who are digital.
And giving you honest starting points. You know, because they've been fed incredible amounts of data.
Right.
So you might be getting the best place to start, like a conscious place to start. You know.
Right.
And that's an undeniable plus point,
right,
to like having these AIs. You know, like you were mentioning some of these tools, right? Like there was this, was it the beat oven? No, what was it called?
Beethoven,
not beat oven. My bad. Beethoven. That's funny. That's a even more a better play on it. They just make beats, right? Like
they make royalty-free beats for videos, like for YouTubers, you know, background music, set the mood and shit like that. That's really cool. You know, that's a company from India, in fact.
Okay.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, so I think that level of AI has been there, though, right? Like they've been around for how long now? Because I think we've been hearing, I guess, stock music and YouTube videos for a long time.
True.
And I don't imagine that like smaller, you know, YouTubers can secure rights for royalties or whatnot.
Yeah.
So
it's a good way to.
These are great resources.
Yeah.
To get your channel going, to get like whatever perspective you have, get it some music back there.
Yeah.
Is Beethoven.
Yeah, bro. Like I think like there's so many advantages that artists and creatives can use today. Like one of the things that I used to notice at big labels, and not even big labels but like proper labels, is that they used to put together writing camps, where they would just bring writers from different parts of the country and just put them in a place and just have fun
and crank out hits.
Crank out hits. Like for the audience, there's a beautiful video, a documentary by J. Cole, where he's doing his writing camp.
Oh yeah. The Dreamville.
The Dreamville camp thing.
Yeah.
Dude, like it's amazing. Like it's a whole. I think it's a 30-minute or an hour-long documentary. It's not even that big, but it's like so cool to see everybody in their element doing that.
It's wild.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things that I admire a lot about. That's one of the things I think is a big advantage of big labels.
Yeah.
I come from the camp of like, I've been in big labels, I've been without big labels, and it's like I come from the thought process of like artists today don't need big labels anymore unless you have certain needs, certain like marketing needs, and like certain ways you can partner up with big labels. Other than that, really pointless. But this type of songwriting camps that they're able to put together because they know everyone very well, that's like a huge advantage of a major label.
And I think that's where you see the industry working, so to speak.
The industry,
because like you have songs that are made, but the purpose hasn't been determined yet.
Right.
Maybe the real singer hasn't been put on yet.
Sure.
Maybe like those managers and A&Rs come in and see like, oh, you know who would sound great singing that. And then hits are delivered. Yeah. If you put a bunch of creatives in a room like for like a whole week, and tell them to like just hang out and see what comes out. Oh man, dude, you're gonna get so many things. So many.
Yeah, whole albums are made sometimes. Like that J. Cole documentary I was talking about, that led to an album, like a whole. It was a Dreamville collab album.
I think it was like
it was.
Was it Revenge of the Dreamers? No.
Might have been. Maybe some of the songs went to that one too.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, these were like very highly, protected environments and whatnot, as it should be. Sure. But now today, like just anybody, like who's an artist, like a solo artist.
Yeah.
You know, like even like somebody like a Russ or somebody like yourself who's a producer artist. You know, like
Right.
you produce and you do the you
Right.
know both sides. It just helps expand those people because now you can use AI tools to help you, you know, bounce off ideas
Yeah.
for, you know, for writing actual
Exactly.
songs, like the melodies or the lyrics or different things, like no more writer blocks, you know,
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
you're blocked and you just can't write new things.
Just open up.
Yeah, just open up and
ChatGPT.
just start
Let's start talking.
exploring. Yeah.
Sure.
You'll get some new ideas.
And there's an art to the prompt as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So like knowing what to say
Yeah.
so that you are inspired.
Yeah.
And I think if you start to gear AI in that way,
Yeah.
and you start to pitch it that way,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like replacement at all.
No, yeah.
It feels more like
Expansion.
enhancement.
Yeah, enhancement,
yeah.
expansion. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
right.
And I think that if you remove the fear that this is going to take away,
Yeah.
then I think you allow yourself to have a broader feedback
Right.
panel right next to you.
Right.
So you may not have to really call the studio session with everybody until, you know, you and your AI panels have worked it out.
Yeah, right, right.
And then you can, like, you know, save people's time and, you know, really get some product out there quicker.
Right.
And save like years off of your journey, you know,
Yeah.
to be able to create quality product.
Right.
And with the amount of, you know, tutorials that are already out there, you can still retain your influence on whatever it is that you're creating,
Right.
or whatever it is that you're pitching or molding.
Right.
It should be used to assist and enhance, I think.
Yeah, man, it's just like, you know, historically humans have like feared everything new, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when the radio was the most popular thing, TV is like evil. You know, after like when
Right.
TV is the main thing now, like computers are bad. You know, social media is like,
Right.
fuck, it's gonna kill
Radio
everybody.
got lost all the way out there. Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's just like, you know, there was a time when teenagers like started to drive for the first time.
Yeah.
I think this was after World War II. It was such a common idea in American culture to think that, oh no, these teenagers are gonna fucking get our women, girls, you know, they're gonna take out our girls and like them and like, teenagers and cars. You know, that was really,
Yeah.
like there was a whole thing in the Supreme Court and there was a whole story about how teenagers are gonna ruin America because
Wow.
now they can drive, you
'Cause
know.
they can drive.
Yeah, this is gonna.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're gonna murder people because they're fucking
Because they're
teenagers.
loose on the streets.
Yeah.
with these tanks. Yeah, driving God knows how fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. People have feared
Yeah,
like change, and
Exactly.
and especially technology.
yeah,
Because they kind of like they do see it, but I can't blame them.
right.
Because I think some of these automated things have been kind of bleak looking.
Yeah.
Like I think there was a Taco Bell somewhere in Southwest U.S. somewhere that didn't have anybody front facing like at all.
Oh,
Like you picked everything on that screen and your bag would come down like a chute.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
like
Yeah.
so there's people putting your food together, I imagine, in the
Right.
back, but there was no glass. There was no place to like eat
Right.
inside or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that looked a little grim, you know, that looked a little there is a lot of like humanity lost just here. Now it's just automating your fast food for you.
right.
So like I think there's a balance here that I think we'll find, you know, in the years to come, and in a way that doesn't seem so one-sided.
Right. Yeah. Like for me, you know, sometimes like if I'm having a bad day, for example,
Yeah.
I can just go on a walk, like
Yeah.
to the park or like
Yeah.
down the street somewhere, get some things done, or like you know, meet the local, you know, there's a few, you know, local coffee shops that I like to go to, you know, the
Sure.
same parks that I like to go to.
Sure.
I go meet, you know, I go to the same places over and over again.
So you
I
meet the
know,
owners.
I know
Yeah.
some people there.
Right.
It's always kind of fun to see them.
Or like regulars, people
Yeah.
that are also there. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And it just like livens up my mood. You know, if I'm listening to an audiobook, it's like I'm walking, listen to the audiobook, reach the place, and then I'm talking to this guy. You know, it's
Sure.
not totally like no human connection.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It like
but at
livens
least
me
you can,
up.
at
It makes
bare,
me feel
bare
good.
minimum, you could see them.
Yeah,
You know,
it's-
like you can
yeah.
see them.
Yeah, it
And
makes me
like-
feel good. You know?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And like, if I, you know, I work from home for everything that I do, right? And
Sure.
so when you come over, like it's also fun to like talk and interact
That's
and
it,
do
yeah,
this thing, right?
exactly.
But then like for my son in the future, I imagine like no matter what he's doing, like part of his studies or homework or whatever would have AI involvement.
It will.
You know, there will be like
100%.
Yeah, when he's like going out for lunch, he probably order AI
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
You know, like probably pick up his Starbucks or something because he just clicked a button and it's
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Or
exactly.
oh, what pickup? It'll just come to him. You know,
Right, something.
like 15, 20 years from now. You know what
There's
I mean?
gonna be drones everywhere.
Yeah.
Like there's gonna be a lot more
Yeah.
unmanned flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
But for them, what we would, you know, just for what I would suggest to him
Yeah.
in the future. I don't know when you're watching this, bro, but if this is the future, this is me
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah.
But I would probably tell him to like have routine-based meetups with friends. Like, hey, every week you go do this. You know, every other week you go play that. You know, or
maintain that
the
human
aspect.
Absolutely.
Because then it's just gonna lead to depression. You know,
Yeah,
like, that's
like,
the thing.
if
That's
you
the
can
scary
if you
part.
can do if you can do so much on your own and you start to view everyone else as unnecessary.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can imagine for like teenagers that would be like a good thing. Like, oh, I don't need so many of these fuckers because I can just do things myself. You know,
and which is empowering.
it's empowering,
like,
but it's
I
got a
didn't-
side effect.
I still couldn't, you know what I mean? Like I still had to grab the mic
Right.
and I still had to perform and
Right.
be in front of people, be amongst people,
True.
like and be out there for real.
Yeah.
And just like now that you can really like, you know, create careers from home
Right.
and then you have now virtual assistants,
Yeah.
it's like it's becoming less and less of a need, you know,
Yeah.
to like really collaborate
Yeah.
and maybe bring ideas to life.
Right. We're gonna always have to remember the collective spirit.
So we have to be more conscious of that.
Yeah.
I think just like instilling it in our kids as well.
Yeah.
That you do have a lot of resource
Right.
just with yourself. So
Right.
don't feel like you don't.
Yeah. Like we always got to remember to like keep that human connection, and that's what will make everybody different. You know, in the future, like creators. It's just the brand, you know. The brand will
So we
always
talked
win,
about
you
that
know?
too. We talked
Yeah.
about that. That like this, if anything, it'll filter out
Yeah.
folks that really aren't cut out for this.
Right.
Quicker.
Right. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
if you can't do better than an AI,
Yeah.
then you're not.
Then you're fucked.
Yeah.
What are
you're
you
not-
doing here anyway?
Yeah, like get your you gotta get your chops up some way or another.
Yeah, you got to level up.
All right, hit me one more time with the 7. Just so
It was LyricStudio, MelodyStudio. So both of these are from the same company. One is for writing better lyrics, and one is for melody ideas.
right.
There was Landr, Landr, for mix master stuff.
Right.
BandLab for just everything, but BandLab's main AI thing is the song starter thing.
Right.
So just get you started on some songs, you know.
Okay.
So and then number 5 is Distropic.
Right.
Distropic and Shutterstock.
So the number 5 was like the AI for graphics.
Yeah, for
Right.
graphics.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and then I missed a number, which was Magenta Studio.
Yeah, that was 6.
Yeah. That's.
Oh, sorry, that was 5.
That was 5, I think. Yeah.
Right.
Magenta Studio helps with the drum patterns and melody patterns and stuff.
Right.
Again, it's a starter thing to get you started. So and then the last one was ChatGPT.
It was ChatGPT.
Yeah, and with all of this, it just kind of helps you get started, but it's like the real productivity, the real work you got to do.
Yeah. There's
You're
no
not
way
gonna
around
escape that.
Absolutely.
People may think they can cheat their way through life, but it's not gonna happen. Just like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's something to remember no matter what comes along.
Right.
That I think if you're gonna stand out, I think
Yeah.
there's this X factor that you hold
Right.
that I don't think comes from delegating too much.
Right.
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
especially in the creativity
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah. There are no shortcuts.
No.
And you're right. Delegating too much is just like there's a side hustle that many people do nowadays. Some people do nowadays is Twitter agencies. So like these are just small agencies of people who write tweets for their clients. So their clients would be
Wow.
like top CEOs or like entrepreneurs who are busy. They're busy like working on their business.
They don't have time to.
They don't want to fucking do this tweeting thing, but they know they need it for their marketing.
Yeah.
So they work with an agency where the agency finds their voice, finds the entrepreneur's
Wow.
voice and talks and like gets to know each other, you know, and then the agency starts tweeting on their behalf.
Wow.
To keep things going, you know, on Twitter. And it's a good thing, but you know, one of the steps that they have to do sometimes is, you know, that client, you know, the entrepreneur, or the CEO will have to go through the list of tweets that are prepared so that it's matches their voice and they can approve it and things like that, you know.
Wow.
So that step is still there.
Still
you
there.
know? Yeah, it still has to be that guy.
Yeah.
It can't be like, okay, we're just gonna give it to an agency, just forget about
and
it.
It'll
Peace.
go out. No. They have to read over it.
Yeah,
they have to
because
vet
then it's not authentic anymore. You
No,
know, and
absolutely.
when your fans figure that out, you're just fucked. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's just some fucking AI.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I guess.
On to the next now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that aspect is always going to be important. You know.
For sure. That's that's something to never forget when it comes to technology. That like the human touch is.
Yeah.
So at some point, it's gonna make its way.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, even for software developers and stuff like that, it's similar. You know, AI can do a lot of the coding, but you have to edit that so that it actually runs on
So
your
that it
system.
actually works.
Yeah, it's not really gonna work just out the box like that. You know?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's really cool. I think you know, AI has its advantages, a lot of advantages.
I think it's just advantageous right now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything outwardly disadvantageous about having AI except for like maybe faulty models or
Sure.
like bugs.
Yeah, and
you know,
I'm
that
sure
might
in the
be in there.
future, like in 20 years from now, as it has developed, there will be, you know, massive disadvantages.
Yeah,
you know, but
I think we need to let it play out at this
Yeah.
point. Like on the front of it, like I don't see anything bad just yet.
right.
But
in the future, just like everything else, there'll be good and bad.
yeah, we don't know
Just-
how it'll actually.
Yeah, just
Check
like
out.
social media, you know, it's so good in allowing you know, small businesses and entrepreneurs and artists and creatives to like reach an audience now. You know,
Yeah,
so good social
absolutely.
media.
Direct.
Then it's got its bad things, you know, like
Yeah.
it increases
How it's shaping a generation.
Yeah, society is like you know, judging each other in different ways that they didn't do before social
There's so much
media.
more division.
Yeah, there's so much. Yeah, exactly. It's got its bad sides, but
Yeah.
the good sides are really good too. You know,
So like you can't. Yeah.
so many things.
Yeah, you can't negate that. I think it's just a matter of taking everything, you know, day at a time.
Yeah.
And I know these people are already, the people that develop AI, I'm sure they're thinking 10, 20 years ahead already.
Right.
The capabilities that I think people that are on the forefront of this technology, I just think we're now starting to
Yeah.
get the masses involved.
Right. Yeah, and it's a major opportunity for those
Yep.
of us who can be early adopters. We can have an advantage over those who will come into it late, you know?
Right.
It's like the .com bubble, you know?
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s, this bubble, you know?
Sure.
It feels like that right now. It feels like it's just so cool, but then at the same time, everybody's scared of it. And, you know, like, and VCs are funding so many dumb AI companies.
Yeah.
Like they did back then. It was like all these .com sites, like, were just getting funded left and right, you know?
Right.
But then only the best ones survived after that burst, you know? So like that's gonna be important. There will be a time when this
There'll
will
be a
burst,
time. Yeah, it does.
and then only the best will survive.
Only
you know?
time will tell. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. This reminds me of a quote by Jim Rohn,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "You in the '90s, he said this. And it still rings true today. I think it was '90s or '80s even. I'm not sure, but Jim Rohn said, "You can't change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind. You can only change yourself." You know?
wow.
And so like
Yeah.
the season of AI is here.
Right,
and
right,
we gotta
right.
change.
Yeah,
we gotta
agreed.
adapt. We gotta learn to
Absolutely.
use it as a tool and like grow with it and enhance ourselves and expand. You know, and really challenge ourselves and see what we can do with it. you
Yeah,
know?
like how we enhance.
Yeah.
You know, what does this really shape out?
Right.
To be, yeah.
Yeah. Can I make other clones of Raph through this?
Yeah.
You know, can there be more Raphs in this world?
Soon enough.
Which would be great. You know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Man. It's a crazy time to
It
say the
really is.
least, but like there is I think there's hope, like in
Yeah.
a good way. And I don't think so much about replacement, you
Mm-hmm.
know, after looking at it more about like it's assisting us or
Right.
more so enhancing what we know or what we can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk likes to say like be a practitioner of the things like of the latest technologies. Be a practitioner. Don't just like not use it but then judge it, you know, like
Right.
you know, like how so many people just like, you know, social media and stuff like that, like so many people just have opinions on TikTok and opinions on social media in general, but like if they're not using it, you won't understand the full aspect of it.
Sure,
and I think that same thing applies to AI.
I agree.
It's from outside it looks scary, but once you start practicing it, using it, it could open up doors. It could open up
right. And then like
you.
you just grow into this next version of yourself.
Right.
It's awesome.
Exactly. Well, that's awesome, man. To the audience, thank you for watching today. I just want to remind you, in a world that's inauthentic and full of filters, I dare you to live authentically, live unfiltered, but don't be an asshole. That's the episode.
Yeah. Peace. So there's, bless you, like, there's like a lot of those. And at some point they are giving
more. I don't know. It's hard to think. That's what's happening today.
It's all good.
It's like I don't know what's happening.
It's like a
this little
this is cool. We can roll
allergy
with it.
thing is like really, because there was a couple of other thoughts that I had in this past segment that I was talking, and I just totally forgot them.
Get lost in the fog.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good, man.